Rhino Linings dealers. Remember, it's not a genuine Rhino lining without this emblem.
Rhino bed liner is the best bed lining there is, period.
13 years, 200,000 miles, and 2 engines, but still the original Rhino lining.
Get the toughness of a Rhino's armor to protect your truck. Call now for a free sample of Tough Stuff, information, and the friendly Rhino Linings dealer nearest you.
The Champ Car World Series. It's always been the place where drivers come to prove themselves. The pursuit of speed on a global stage. The true challenge of driver, team, and technology. The search for the ultimate prize, the championship. Who will emerge?
CBS Sports coverage of the Champ Car World Series is sponsored by Bridgestone Tires. Advanced technology that gives you a grip on the future. And by Ford. If you haven't looked at a Ford lately, look again.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch as the green flag flies and we are back underway on lap number 85 of 165 here at the inaugural London Champ Car Trophy. Bob Varsha, Tommy Kendall, Derek Daly, and Calvin Fish with you here on CBS Sports. The first of 7 events as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford here on CBS Sports in 2003. You're on board with Paul Tracy, who won 3 straight races coming into this season, looking for a record-tying 4th in a row here at Brands Hatch. Right now he runs 2nd. He had to pit 1 lap sooner than the man in front of him, Sebastian Bourdais, who started alongside Tracy on the front row. But Bourdais went 1 lap farther, got back on track before Tracy could get around to catch him. He has led since lap number 56.
And Bourdais has gotten a phenomenal jump. This is on board with Michel Jourdain. That's Thiago Montero right in front of him in the Fittipaldi Dingman entry.
Jourdain in 9th. Montero is a lap down.
And this is your worst nightmare when you're Michel Jourdain having a lap car in between.
You're on board with Darren Manning. Now let's go back to the restart and see what happened to him. We're half a lap from the green flag. Ooh, traffic. The field bunched up as the safety car pulled away, and Manning was caught out. Let's go to Derek Daly.
With Derek Walker here, the team owner for Darren Manning. You do know that was a replay that you watched, but Derek, tell me why you took Darren Manning out of line, out of sequence with the leaders, and made that pit stop.
Well, we weren't getting the mileage that we wanted, so rather than come in with everybody else or try to, we came in a little early to get a clean pit. So we're now on a 3-stop strategy, so that's why we made a splash now, take it out of the way, and now we've got one more stop to go.
And of course he loses nothing because he was on 3 stops anyway, because they couldn't make that mileage 55 magic lap on that earlier run, the first run.
We're into the second half of this race. On board with Manning, currently 12th.
Now what Manning will try to do to make this work, we're expecting everybody in front of him with the exception of Tagliani to be in on lap 110 or so. That's about 22 laps from now. After those 22 laps, Manning will be able to run about another 30 with a clear track. So he will try to build up as much of a cushion, get his stop done, and get back out in front. It won't be enough to put him in front of the leaders, but it might put him up into maybe into the top 5 or 6 if things go well and they don't get a yellow during those 30 laps.
Manning is the 5th car in line in a train that's beginning to pack up behind the young Portuguese rookie Thiago Montero. There is Sebastian Bourdais. What a tremendous boost to his confidence it would be to get a top finish here. He has been scrambling to get great finishes, been qualifying very well. He has simply undoubted speed, but it's bringing the whole package together, the race pace and the craftsmanship in terms of pit stops, in laps and out laps to get the job done.
I saw Michel Jourdain shaking his fist he's shaking it kind of at Montero, but he's more shaking it at the officials. He wants the officials to give the blue flag. And look at Montero block. That is absolutely unacceptable. It's not acceptable when you're racing for position. It's inexcusable when you're a lap down.
That was 2 laps ago. This was 1 lap ago. Jourdain appealing to the officials to order Thiago Montero to move by. We hope Michel Jourdain's team co-owner David Letterman is watching this.
Well, the damage is somewhat already done, because look how much distance Jourdain lost. The guys in front of him are gone.
Thiago Montero begins to be shuffled back through that train of cars I mentioned. Derek Daly has more.
With Emerson Fittipaldi, who of course won the British Grand Prix back here in 1972. Emerson, your driver Thiago Montero. A bit of a difficult situation here now, with drivers waving their fist at him, trying to tell him to move over.
Well, he had 1 lap down, but we had an early pit stop. We're still racing with other people now.
Okay, there's a fairly simple explanation. He's still in the race.
Yes, he is, but running 16th now. And that 1 lap down that you mentioned. On board with Manning. Montero just ahead of him. The cars are so closely matched, all on the same Bridgestone Potenza Racing radials, all using the same Ford Cosworth engines. They're so evenly matched that it's even more difficult to pass. Cars are slow relative to others, but not that much slower. Wiggle there for Manning, getting some push up there in Druids.
And this is frustrating for Manning. Like I said, for this stop to really help them out for that fuel stop that he made, they need a clear track and they need to make time. The exact opposite's happening. He's stuck behind a slower car.
Get a little frustrated there, waving at the officials. It's Jourdain on board with him. Let's get more on his situation with Calvin Fish.
Ray, we saw Michel very frustrated there with Thiago. How do you calm the race car driver down when he's in that mode?
Well, it's pretty hard because, you know, Thiago's a lap down, and we're trying to stay with Moreno out there, and, you know, we lost about 4 seconds in that 5 laps that he was being held up. So now we're just trying to get him focused to catch back up to Roberto.
Last year, qualifying was the problem for Michel. This year, so he seems to have put that straight, but here, mid-pack, really makes it tough on race day.
Yeah, it is, especially at a tight track like this when you're nose to tail. You know, it happens in the pits or out there. You know, that 3 seconds could cost us later, so that's why he's upset.
Okay, well, they've still got a smile on their face, though, for a good run here for the rest of the day.
That's Ray Lito, the engineer for Michel Jourdain Jr. You see how much time the driver spends steering with just one hand. There's so many gear shifts around this track. We've counted as many as 18 in a single lap. Multiply by 165 laps and you get the idea. This is hard work.
Back up front, Paul Tracy has gathered in a lot of that jump that Sebastian Bourdais got on the restart, and this is essential. If he couldn't close this gap back up, the race and his options are starting to slip away. That yellow flag was critical because it allowed him to bank some fuel, which was his weak spot relative to Bourdais, in addition to being behind him on the track. Paul Tracy's best chance is to turn this into a real high-intensity sprint race. Keep the pressure on Bourdais. Hope that physical fitness comes into play, or that he's really close and can maybe do the opposite thing to him on the next stop. But he's got to keep the pressure up. Paul Tracy rides his bike every morning, goes to the gym every night. For moments like this, where he can put the pressure on Bourdais and say, what kind of shape are you in?
I mentioned Bourdais' poor finishes earlier. He has led all 4 races to date, but his 3 finishes, 11th, 17th, and 16th. See CBS Sports coverage of the London Champ Car Trophy will continue from Brands Hatch after this message and a word from your local station. Back at Brands Hatch in West Kingsdown, England, less than an hour's drive from central London. Bob Barsha and Tommy Kendall with you. Derek Daly and Calvin Fish are in the pit lane. And the second round of pit stops have begun. Several teams have already been in and out, including Oriol Servia.
And the leader, Bourdais, has caught Montero. Is about to put another lap on him. Montero pulls over and lets him by. Rodolfo Levine did the same thing a lap before. So those guys are in the middle of their battle, but they pulled over and let these two go by.
Bourdais and Tracy, then Bruno Junqueira, Patrick Carpentier, Roberto Moreno, Michel Jourdain Jr., Alex Tagliani, Darren Manning, Mario Haberfeld, and Mario Dominguez, the top 10. On board with Tracy.
Saw Bourdais really slipping out, trying to put the power down, leaving clearways, using every inch of road as the tires get to the end of this stint. Still running incredibly quick lap time, so they're providing good grip.
Let's get down to the pit lane and Calvin Fish.
Patrick Carpentier comes in, currently holding down fourth place. I spoke to Mike Cann. He said we pitted early through miscommunication on the first round. He said the car is good, we believe. The traffic is really holding him up, and Pat cannot get a good read on the car in this much traffic, so we expect no changes. Topping him up with fuel, they're getting good mileage. Topped him up a good stop. Meanwhile, Paul Tracy's crew sets up, and Tracy's coming down pit lane as well. This will be the final stop. We expect Bourdais to go at least one more lap ahead of him, so this is crucial. This team, they're going for 4 in a row here. Let's see what happens with experience behind the wheel. There you see it, fresh Bridgestone tires. Good tires, team is ready with the starter. Last drops of fuel, revs come up. Tracy on his way, great start.
Passing the marker up from the 35-mile-an-hour pit lane speed limit, and the car trying to squirm out from under the experienced hands of Paul Tracy as he brings it back up to speed.
And this is the lap where they most earn their money. Cold tires, 800 horsepower.
The next big pit stop will be Bruno Junqueira and Sebastian Bourdais. We don't know which one will be first. There is Bourdais. Once again, he passes the distance. And if there's one guy in this field who can turn in a quick lap, it's this kid. Bruno Junqueira is in the pits. Calvin Fish awaits him.
Bruno Junqueira comes in. He's been told to save fuel, so hopefully this will relate to a slightly shorter stop. You see how the wheels lock up with the unevenness of pit lane, and the Newman Haas boys go to work. He's running scrub Bridgestone tires. The revs are screaming. They had a problem in the warm-up this morning with a stop like this. Looking for the bubbles in the fuel vent. Here he goes. Bruno Junqueira on a charge, looking for his fourth top 5 finish this season, Bob.
There could be a problem for Paul Tracy. You're on board with Tracy. They're reporting spray and smoke from the back of the car. And as he went by our announce position, there was visible smoke out the back of Paul Tracy's car. His attempt to tie the record with 4 consecutive victories and be the first man to do it in the first 4 races of the season may be in jeopardy right now.
When Paul Tracy passed me coming down the pit lane, Bob, there was already steam pouring out the overflow pipe at the back of the engine, so it looked ominous right before that pit stop.
Let's look at his pit stop, see if we can pick up.
Bourdais is in. Sebastian Bourdais is in. This is a no change, according to Craig Hampson. It is perfect. It is a perfect stop for Bourdais. Sideways, left to right.
And Paul Tracy is coming down the start-finish straightaway with more smoke out the back as Sebastian Bourdais heads down Paddock Hill. But it would appear Paul Tracy has more important problems than Sebastian Bourdais. Let's learn more about him from his team, Calvin Fish.
Neil, it looked like a great day. What are you seeing on the telemetry with Paul's car right now with the smoke?
Obviously, we're misting out of the back right now. We're pretty confident that it's just a oil tank overflow that's blowing. So we're still looking for some evidence on the telemetry of what's happening.
Are you seeing the right RPM and speeds right now?
Hold on. I guess we just stopped. So.
Okay, well, you can
not
tell.
Yet, but Paul Tracy's problems have just been compounded. Something let go. A huge plume of smoke and flame out the back. Tracy pulls the car off the track. The question is, how much fluid may he have left on the racing line in Paddock Hill Bend? And so Paul Tracy's quest for 4 in a row is over. He got on the radio to his team and reported, "That's it, boys." Now, he came into this race with a 26-point lead in the championship, made it 27 by taking provisional pole in the first round of qualifying. And with that number of points, no matter who wins this race, specifically second in the championship, Bruno Junqueira, Paul Tracy will remain the points leader, but by the slimmest of margins. See him working to take off the cockpit surround that protects the driver's head. And out he comes. Needs a little help to unhook the radio. So the race leader right now is Alex Tagliani with Sebastian Bourdais in second. Here's a replay out the back.
It says it's your world. Paul Tracy's world is on fire. If you're going to go out big.
One of the remarkable things about the Ford Cosworth engines that all the cars in the series are using is that they have been incredibly bulletproof. This is the first engine failure other than Sebastian Bourdais at Long Beach in round 3. I can't think of another one, Tommy.
I think you're right.
That is a lot of racing miles. So as Paul Tracy walks away, Alex Tagliani is in the race lead for the first time this season. But he has a pit stop coming up. And with that, Paul Tracy will miss out on his opportunity to join these 3 great racers, Al Unser Jr., Alex Zanardi, and Cristiano D'Amata, who each won 4 in a row en route to championships. See Paul kind of talking to himself as he comes up the hill. And there is your new race leader, Alex Tagliani, who ironically had Paul Tracy's drive with the Players Forsyth team last year. Many people thought it was Patrick Carpentier, Tracy's new teammate, that would be the driver leaving the team. Instead, it was Alex Tagliani.
Tagliani is leading. He stopped at the same time that Manning did, so he made a stop for fuel. It did not count as one of his mandatory stops, so he's trying to put as much distance on the pack as he can, so after he makes his upcoming mandatory green, hopefully he's cycled up the order. He's not far enough ahead to hold the lead over Bourdais, but he came in, I believe he was in about 8th or 9th spot when he came in, so we'll see how he fares after his final stop.
There's Paul Tracy looking for a way back to the pits.
And not only is the streak over for Paul Tracy, in spite of the perfect season, he had just over a full race of points advantage over second place. He will still have the points lead when he leaves here, but if Bruno Junqueira continues running in second, he will close up considerably.
What a Great moment of the sun for this team. I mentioned earlier this year they took their first podium in only their second race when Alex Tagliani finished third in Monterrey, Mexico. And now they have their first race lead of the year. The Johnson Control sponsored team, Rocket Sports, based in Michigan. Paul Gentilozzi, the car owner, has to be proud of his little team's job today.
Now these need to be his fastest laps of the race. Clear track, light fuel load. Traffic is the last thing he wants to see. Still not impeding his progress right now.
30-year-old racer from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Paul Tracy makes his way home. Let's go to Calvin Fish.
Paul, tough afternoon for you, mate. The car was running strong. Looked like you had some speed to challenge Bourdais there in the last laps. Any indication it was going south on you?
Well, I think it's hard to say. I mean, I had about 10 laps where it just started getting tighter and tighter and tighter, the engine, and you know, I was still only half distance into the race, so pretty frustrating for team players because, you know, we just wanted to get as many points as we can, and obviously this is going to close the gap to Junkie if he finishes second.
Were you content with the pit stop and the way things were planning out? I mean, a podium finish is okay with the championship lead, or was that fourth win really on your mind today?
I would have liked to have gotten better mileage, but I was doing everything I could, and we're running a higher downforce configuration, so we're not going to get the mileage that the Newman Haas cars were getting, and so you know, we were just content. I think we could have challenged later in the race, but you know, that's live.
Okay, Paul, tough to see you out, mate. And what they're talking about there, Bob, as we mentioned already in the show, they're on that high downforce configuration. And unless they have a trick up their sleeve, they gambled on Brands Hatch for the win. We're maybe going to give some away next week on the Oval.
That's right. As we mentioned earlier, you had to commit to an aerodynamic setup for this short twisting road course on the long, blazingly fast super speedway in Germany. Well, Tracy sounds like he's having a few second thoughts. Patrick Lemarié with Rodolfo Lavigne right on his tail. You're on board with Michel Jourdain Jr.
The irony was that the Newman Haas team went with a lower downforce setting thinking it would hurt them. It might be the reason they were going to win the race, because they got better mileage and were able to leapfrog path. That will not go unnoticed for next year.
Sebastian Bourdais and Bruno Junqueira run second and third. If Junqueira, or Junkie as Paul Tracy nicknamed him, can finish second today, which is a strong possibility if Alex Tagliani makes his second required green flag pit stop, and Bourdais and Junqueira move up to first and second, Bruno Junqueira would leave today just 11 points behind Paul Tracy. A huge bite out of Paul's championship lead. There's Joel Camatias in the Lugano sponsor car. Let's get more on Alex Tagliani's situation. Derek Daly.
I want to talk to Phil Howard here, who's an Englishman, very proud of what Alex Tagliani is doing. Philip, this Johnson Controls team is showing strength again. You got to be a proud man.
Yeah, very proud. They're a good bunch of guys. They're working really hard. We're doing a good job for a new team.
I like that English accent. Thanks, Phil.
Sun beginning to shine brightly here at Brands Hatch. We began the day with clouds and a threat of rain, and boy, that sent an electrical charge up and down the pit lane. The idea of racing on this place, having to stop for treaded wet weather Bridgestones, and running it close to these speeds in the wet.
Now this pack that's running in front of Tagliani, this is where he's going to come out in the middle of somewhere. So any extra speed he can have in these last few laps before he catches the tail end of this queue, he'll have a short stop. They won't have to put a full tank of fuel in. So as quickly as they can change the tires, they'll get him back out there. Jourdain knows he's being held up, and there's a chance that Tagliani will come out in front of him. That would be in the 7th spot. It's very close right now. He's 34.7 seconds in front of Jourdain. That's really close to enough time to get in and out.
Now here's the situation going on in front of Michel Jourdain Jr. That is Thiago Montero and Patrick Lemarié running 12th and 13th. Both men are a lap down. That is for position, and the 12th position is the final championship points paying one. So those guys are basically in a race position among themselves. And Michel Jourdain Jr., although he's gotten by Lemarié, can't expect a whole lot. Now that is the driver's left front wing
of Adrian Fernandez.
Either Adrian Fernandez or maybe one of the Bourdais competition cars. There is Ryan Hunter-Reay off and on. Meanwhile, Alex Tagliani, the race leader, is in the pits.
As we watch Tagliani come down the pit lane, Adrian Fernandez went by here. He's gone very, very slowly, so his crew is concerned. Tagliani, his crew led by Phil Howard, they're making no changes. They are lightly scrubbed Bridgestone, and there he goes. Perfect stop.
You're right, Derek. It was Adrian Fernandez who is going around very gingerly, minus half of the front wing on his car.
That is Alex Tagliani on the right up there, and Bourdais going to sweep around the outside. Tagliani is trying to get his tires up to temperature and hold as many of these cars behind him as he can.
Meanwhile, Bourdais is waving madly at Tiago Monteiro. I still think the Mexican driver thinks he was badly done by the Portuguese rookie. But as I said, he and Patrick Lemarié were racing for position. Fernandez is in. Calvin Fish.
Well, Adrian had contact with Ryan Hunter-Reay out there, so the crew are going to have to bring him in there, as you can see, and change the front nose assembly. And these guys practice this regularly, but it's probably about a 20-second stop here, and with the pit lane, he'll probably lose a lap. So a disappointing run for Adrian. He's coming off that podium finish at Long Beach. He was an instructor here back in the mid-'80s and was looking for a strong showing in front of some of his friends.
That's right. He worked here as a racing school instructor and a mechanic here at Brands Hatch. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. Watch the left-hand side of your screen, well back there. Looks like maybe Fernandez just got a push and went into the right rear wheel of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Oh, Hunter-Reay went wide as well. That's aftermath there. One way or the other. Ryan Hunter-Reay continues on his way. Adrian Fernandez made a very expensive pit stop. The Newman Haas teammates Bourdais and Junqueira run up front. We'll be back to Brands Hatch.
All healthcare companies say they care, but I need more than talk.
Pacific Air believes caring is good. Doing something is better.
From now on, there's gonna be a better
Brands Hatch, here's another look at what happened between Adrian Fernandez and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Fernandez knocks the rookie wide. Fernandez had to limp around. Watch for Hunter-Reay, though, as he gets down into Graham Hill Bend.
The wing cut his right rear tire. The tire went down, and he went off-road.
Now you're on board with race leader Sébastien Bourdais with 151 laps complete. 14 to go here at the London Champ Car Trophy. The running order is Bourdais, his Newman Haas teammate Bruno Junqueira in a potential 1-2. Then Mario Dominguez and Oriol Servia. But those two drivers last pitted on lap 109. To get to the finish, they'll have to go 56 laps on a load of fuel. Bourdais leads Junqueira by 5.5 seconds. To the pits and Calvin Fish.
Well, we're down there in the herd as Pet's going to catch a word here with Keith Wiggins. Wiggy, great performance by Mario, but tell us about the fuel situation right now. Can he make off through 56 laps?
Yeah.
He's keeping his cards close to his chest. I mean, great performance by the youngster. I mean, he's really come on strong this year. You have to be happy with his performance, whatever happens today.
He's come on leaps and bounds, his confidence, his performance. He's doing a great job. So we hope he's going to be on for a very good result.
Well, Wiggy has won races here before. He had Pacific Racing over here before he moved to the States. Won races with JJ Leto and many others. But Derek Daly, what's the story down at the other end of the pits?
A little bit of an update on Sébastien Bourdais. He just radioed into the assistant team manager, Kenny Seawick. He said, do you think Tagliani will move over and let me by? Kenny Seawick said, highly unlikely, as he's racing for his position too.
Now the gap has shrunk to 3.5 seconds over Junqueira. That's still plenty of time in hand. He'll try to push the pace to catch up to the back of Tagliani here. There are a couple lap cars between Junqueira and Bourdais that are also in their own race, that are probably also not likely to move over for Junqueira. But if that gap 2 seconds. Bourdais is going to have to figure out what he wants to do. He doesn't want to take a chance just yet to force his way by Tagliani, but at some point he might have to force the issue.
Bourdais has clinched the championship bonus point for laps led in this race, and he desperately